In this video, we will observe what data analysis consists of. This is the way we can take advantage of the information that we occasionally have in order to comprehend it and make use of it effectively. Before we begin, we must remember that we live in the world of data, in the data region. The global interconnected world of the internet in the present day results in us having a large amount of data. Each device we have is connected to the internet, and what's more devices will have it in the future. So we are definitely at the present time in the history of mankind where we have a greater amount of data. The question is, how can we utilize this data? Because frequently that data, despite being accessible, is incomprehensible. We require an approach that we can employ to extract relevant information from those seemingly scattered, unstructured, or directly worthless data, if viewed from a diffuse and diverse perspective that encompasses various angles and viewpoints. Ultimately, if we consider it, we only have ones and zeros that we must give and imbue with meaning. Data analytics can be described as a science close to computing and part of art that consists of extracting relevant knowledge through raw data that we can find in any digital system. It involves analyzing and interpreting data to uncover patterns, trends, and insights that can be used to make informed decisions and drive business growth. It seems simple, but as we will see, it is more complicated than it seems. Think that on one hand, we have a lot of raw information, that data we see at the base of the pyramid. From there we have to extract information, and from there we have to extract the so-called insights, right? Those pertinent ideas, those pertinent conclusions that condense the info and knowledge contained in the raw data that we possess a priori, before any analysis or interpretation takes place. What is the step-by-step process that we can follow to go from raw data to knowledge or insights and extract meaningful information from the data? Well, this is precisely the process in which the discipline of data analytics becomes meaningful and provides valuable insights and understanding. As we can observe in this diagram, we initiate from raw data and proceed through a series of processes, transformations, loading, and analysis that enable us to transition from incoherent and diffuse information to coherent information, concrete, specific, with value. Everything we have in that cloud you see there is what we refer to as the process of data analysis, okay? That collection of techniques encompassing mathematical, statistical, and visualization approaches that we are going to utilize in order to comprehend the data and derive our conclusions. What is data analysis useful for? As we mentioned in the introductory, it has as two primary uses. On the one hand, this analysis can assist us in comprehending the past in order to search for patterns, which will be exactly what we emphasize the most in this module, correct? In the vision of how data can aid us in understanding reality, but as we also observed, it can assist us in predicting the future. These data are the foundation on which artificial intelligence models are fed, which will ultimately be capable of making predictions. Otherwise, we can see it like this. There is a part related to the past, which is descriptive, what occurred in a phenomenon, or a diagnostic component, what is the reason behind something like this happening? That is, the data will provide relevant and valuable information about why or how a particular phenomenon occurred in the past. As we were saying, this analysis can also be used to make predictions, e.g. using AI. Whether it's a prediction, what could happen in the future, or a prescription, what would be the best action or course of action to take for the future. How is this data analysis process? How can we articulate this process in an orderly manner to achieve the objectives? The first thing, as it usually is to understand what we want to achieve. Are we looking for something specific, or are we just exploring data to find patterns? It is important that we know that beforehand. Step 2, super important, we have to connect with the data sources that have the relevant information for our use case. Databases, spreadsheets, external applications. We will have to see where we are going to feed our model, our system, with data that is of interest. And of course, the data can have various formats. We'll need to transform, process, and prepare it for analysis, which is precisely phase 4 of the project. Once we have homogeneous, organized, properly crossed data, we can utilize statistical techniques, or, upon initial inspection, we will be able to quickly identify and analyze relevant patterns of significance and importance. And finally, of course, if we have discovered something, we need to communicate. We will explore how to create graphs, generate dashboards that enable us to share the findings we have uncovered in the initial dataset. Allow me to inform you about completing common use cases we encounter in the field of data analysis. For example, imagine that you want to understand what your customer base is like if you have an e-commerce company or any type of company. See categories, typologies, or understand, for example, which client consumes the most. On the other hand, to make decisions. Based on the data, you will be able to make better informed decisions or find patterns. Imagine you sell online. You will be able to see what the seasonality pattern of your sales is, why you sell more in some periods than in others, or how the market behaves throughout a complete year. For instance, take into account the industry, predictive analysis systems that enable us to comprehend how models operate, or how a component in an industry can malfunction due to usage and impact overall performance. Or a typical case too. In banking, how to perform analysis to identify suspicious operations. Imagine the world of banking, detecting potentially suspicious banking operations. As you can see, the casuistry of uses is incredibly large. In every sector, extremely horizontal, we will find cases where data can provide us with solutions and relevant information.